It's cold, baby, it's cold outside.
Baby, it's cold inside. My God. It is frigid.
Is it that bad?
I'm really cold. Happy Monday, everyone. This is Revolution Radio. Jay and Tanya coming to you live from the Revolution Radio 106.6 studios, where it's a steamy -2 degrees.
It's not that bad.
It is freaking cold.
You're on drugs.
I could, well, yeah, I am, let's be honest. Although it is 55 degrees outside and it's beautiful while it's pretty much a fucking blizzard in here and cold.
What is a dungeon that we do this out of?
I thought it was, a morgue.
Oh, yeah.
It's
the
a
mor-
morgue.
It's supposed to, keep bodies clean.
Yeah,
And
I really question
I'm sorry, I'm barely here at the moment, but
when people say that they're going to the morgue. I think there's only two thoughts going through my head. And the first one is, okay, you must be a coroner, or that's your job.
did you say a corner?
A coroner. No, you belong on a corner. The second thought that goes through my head is, what are you going to do with that dead body? Do you know what I mean? Like, why are you going to the morgue? If you don't work there, if you have nothing to do to deal with anything, what are you going to do with the body?
I have no idea. I honestly don't know what you're talking about. Sorry. You've been in your own conversation by yourself because I've been messing with this board trying to get our levels somewhat up.
Yeah, I get it. It happens. So how was your day today? Did you do anything
It's
good?
been good except for right now.
It's a little awkward at the moment.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I feel like I'm finally where I need to be, but I've got you maxed.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know.
there we go.
It's me. It's
you do have a very
It's us.
calm
You know what?
voice.
I quit. Let's leave. We all have vagina
Out
strep.
of here.
Which reminds me, ladies and gentlemen, as you can tell, Matt is still at the top of the stairs. He can't come down. And Cody is not here.
Yeah, we got really bad news about Cody. So apparently, when you are sexually active with enough farm animals, some kind of bacteria that they haven't exactly. The only thing that they said was it was virus 87.
It was weird. There's some kind of neon green pus coming out of him now, like every hole in his body.
And from what I understand, they just say he has goat dick. So, yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to come back. I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of surgeries that are gonna have to be done. So, yeah. Which I mean, with as many times as he's missed out from chlamydia and everything else,
Do you know, I miss Cody sometimes, but when he's not, even when he's here, I don't. Do you notice? I don't notice.
No.
Does any, ladies and gentlemen, if you could message us right now and let us know if you miss Cody. I think we should take a poll.
316-778-0529. Do you miss Cody?
That could be our poll for the evening. We should put a poll on our Facebook page. Do you miss Cody when he's gone? Oh my God, he'd probably cry. Who
know.
knows? You know, it's the thought that counts. Maybe one day.
When I'm trying to communicate with the old goat dick himself right now, and because I don't know. Will was doing some stuff down here, and I feel like he might have did some stuff that I don't know. Our levels are off, I feel, and I can't hear anything else coming through. Yeah, good, fantastic. Anyway, let me check on this real quick. And I don't want to, again, if you're able to hear it, you're like, oh, this is really annoying. They're just having sound problems. They sound like a rap song in the early 2000s at the beginning of it. You know, more sound in my earphones. Yeah, like that's really annoying. But I also don't want to go on something interesting or get onto what we want to talk about if we're just talking to each other. Because let's be honest, too, I don't like to sit around and talk to you guys. I would rather be at home itching my balls. So, you know,
Do you have balls?
they're in my wife's purse, but I get to play with them at least 30 minutes a day.
And
Makes me
that's-
feel like a man.
I was gonna say I didn't even know she let you touch them anymore.
Yeah,
She took them out the other day, and we all played pool with them.
pretty big.
I
I'm all balls.
That's
No
funny.
no dick, but all balls.
really, because I have a Chihuahua, and his look huge compared to yours.
Yeah, well, his drag on the floor, and he's got issues.
It's not. He has Down syndrome. I don't know why you constantly make fun of my dog. He legitimately has a problem.
Yeah, but he also grew up in your house, so. Oh, hey, that's good.
That's working. Woohoo!
What's
It's
working?
the thought that counts. I mean, I could answer. Should we answer this? I think we
I
have a
guess
phone
if
call.
you, we can't hear anything coming out of it. This is a shit show. See what happens when Cody's gone?
I don't know. We'll find out in a minute. So, in today's news, have you been?
Did somebody actually call regarding if they miss Cody? I would, if I was listening and I was them, I would say yes. At this moment, I do, obviously.
But I
'cause-
don't think it should count because I think it was Cody calling to say he misses us.
Oh.
I really do. And it doesn't count if you're voting for yourself, unless you're Trump, which, as we know, Cody does seem to have a problem with Trump. I heard he masturbates furiously to him.
See, I thought it was on. I saw that it said unknown, which I figured Cody would be known in the system as Cody. You know,
Well,
right? That
I mean,
makes
I
sense.
think that's
I mean,
more of like the secretary's problem.
he's a host here.
Hello, and thank you for calling Revolution Radio. Can I help you?
Nothing. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah?
Yeah, we are. Oh, thank God it's
Hey.
working now.
You guys need to get your fucking shit together. I don't know what the hell y'all are doing without this Cody guy, but you need to get your shit together and have him back on.
Okay, so what about Cody is it that you like?
Well, I don't know. He's a cool guy. He can run the computer normally.
What else can he do? Oh,
Wow,
I think we lost
sorry,
his.
I'm listening to the radio. Yeah, no, there's a weird delay here.
I bet. I'll tell you what else, it's interesting. Because, see, Cody has strep throat. And as most people know, that's a sore throat and they can't talk very well. I'm glad
Right,
you don't have
exactly.
that problem because you sound really good.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate it. You know, I've been working for a few years on my radio voice. I don't know. Maybe you guys can give me some pointers on how to be a little bit better.
I'd probably
Um,
sleep with less men. That would probably help.
I don't know. It's really hard to understand you. It sounds like you have a dick in your mouth. Maybe you should take
I mean,
that
it's
out.
hard to understand you too, but I guess I get it since you just started doing radio a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, we were sabotaged. I think all of our all of our
really?
levels were like at weird places.
Well, I'm telling you, I've heard a lot about your station manager. I think you need to get that guy out of there and find someone else.
We get an
But anyway.
audio technician, is what you're saying?
Basically, hey, I'm going into an important business meeting right now. I'll have to get back to you guys later.
All right, let us know how that meeting with Nambla goes.
I sure will. All right, bye.
The great Cody Vogus.
I think it's fantastic that he can talk.
I know, it's a miracle.
It's like
Goat dick and all.
maybe he doesn't have strep throat.
Maybe he doesn't. Yeah, so now that we know everything's good and we're back to where we are, we can finally start the show, right?
Right.
We're
so,
only like, what, 15 minutes in? So I got to talk about something.
Oh, that's right. You said you had
Yeah,
something.
so here it is. I get a lot of messages and people that complain that we're mouthpieces for bigger media, and they question the validity of some of our opinions and our news stories. And I want to say that when you listen to a Sean Hannity, a Rachel Maddow, Anderson Cooper, they read the news that they see and they sit on it, right? That's a mouthpiece. When you have somebody, Sam Morril, or Sam Harris, sorry, not Sam Morril, Sam Morril's comic, Sam Harris, even Joe Rogan,
Yeah.
obviously people like the Young Turks, real independent media people, they don't just rehash it. They then also predict what's going to happen with it. And that's exactly what we did Friday. And if there's anything that gives us as a show credibility, it's being able to take that and analytically say, no, this is what's going to happen from there.
Exactly.
And Friday, we talked about the story about the 7-year-old little girl from Honduras who passed away while under the care of ICE.
Yes.
And I said, look, and at the time, and I have to say, I've got to make a correction, and I will go into that correction here momentarily. But I said, look, they're going to demonize these people. They're going to say, they look at these Latino, and most of them get it wrong, which I said they would. I said they're going to say, look at these Mexicans. They just killed, they're murderers of their own kids,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. I called that. And all weekend,
That's all you saw.
that's all I heard.
It is.
Oh, these people are horrible parents. Who would do this to their kid? And nobody thinking, cognitively to say, you know what? I bet you she got sick while they were in this journey to a better life. And the only reason you would put your child through that is to get them to a place where they're not going to be killed or put into a drug cartel or a prostitution or something of that nature. That would be about the only reason you do that. So I do, though, like I said, I made a mistake, and that's what also makes us credible. When we're wrong about something, we will admit it, and we'll come back and we'll say, hey, we're not just going to tweet it. We're not just going to put it on Facebook where maybe a small amount of our listeners will hear us. No, we'll say it out loud, and here it is. I said it was 50-50. I said, look, it's obviously not the father's fault. And I said, I don't think it's the
You
border
did say
security
that.
either. I think this was one of those situations where it was unfortunate and it is awful. But I don't think anyone's at fault. I was wrong. I didn't know that she had been in their custody for 8 hours without water.
Exactly.
And now that I know that,
Yeah.
yes, it's definitely border security's fault.
Well, and I think that we need, and we can post it on our social media pages. When we break stories like this, we have a vetting process that we usually try to do 2 to 3 hours before we break news, before we post news on our social media. And we try to do at least 2 viable sources.
Yeah.
When the story was sent to me, it was sent from Rewire News and from the Washington Post. So the story was going to break at any point during the day.
And yeah, you're right. And we vet our stories, and we also go back through and do our own investigative journalism.
Exactly.
And that's why a lot of times we'll get most of our show is us bullshitting about what happens in our daily lives, and then we'll interrupt it with the story because we put so much into those news stories.
We make sure that all the things that you hear from us, There's a reason why we want you to have the important news around the world, and we want it to be from viable sources. Nobody wants you guys to think, oh, they're just spreading lies. And we're not really mouthpieces. I don't, I kind of find that offensive. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and I don't think it was meant to be nice.
I don't think so either.
A majority of our listeners, I don't think, appreciate. Here's the thing about our listeners: we have half of our listeners don't appreciate our comedy and our banter back and forth because, oh my God, did they make fun of a fat person? It's like,
Damn right I did.
we made fun of a fat person, our station manager, not fat people. There's a difference. There is a difference, believe it or not. And sometimes with comedy, it's okay to say. I think as long as it's funny, comedians should be
You know,
able
when
to
we
joke
talk
about whatever
about
they want. Not
gimps
that
and
we are
wheelchairs,
comedians, by the
it's
way.
Mountain Matt. It's not all gimps and wheelchairs. It's just Mountain Matt.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
it's not to be
specific.
offensive towards you guys. It's offensive towards Matt.
And so, yeah, the progressives that listen tend to sometimes be liberal little snowflakes. Not all,
They
not all,
all-
but some.
I feel
And
like
then
they
they're like,
all
"Oh my
hate
God, I
us.
can't believe they said that." And then the people who enjoy us saying things like that, they're like, "Oh no, they're talking about news again, and it's going to be against
It's
Trump or
from
it's going to
yeah.
be a conservative
There's no
side."
happy medium. When I
really
meet
isn't.
two people, the snowflakes are mad because that's not how it should be. Republicans are mad because women shouldn't talk like that. And the comedians are like, can you make that a ringtone?
Right?
We
No,
could.
exactly. And I think that's why we work so well with comedians as well, because
They understand us.
they understand us and they have a mind that says, like, I'm not, and just like us, we're not tied to one side or the other.
No.
If it's the truth, I'm going to call it out. I mean, no matter what it is. I know, like, for one, it's social justice warrior, protocol to be big fans of fundamentalist Muslims. But no, I'm going to say, nah,
No.
I'm not a fan. Fuck them. I don't care. It's not a racial thing. It's a religion thing.
Okay, so it was racist when I talked about Abu at the gas station because his name is not Abu. I think it's more like Mohammed. I don't know. I think Simpsons when I hear him talk. That was
And
racist.
that's racist, and people are
He
against it.
laughed though.
But the thing is you
He
can't
laughed. That's all
hold
that matters.
people's feet to the fire on all of it. And like I said, I think our conservative listeners, they get that.
Oh,
you know,
man.
and-
Please
and
don't go there.
And so that's where it is. We're just going to say the things that are true.
Yeah, it's not that we're being mean. We're gonna treat you all the same. Sorry.
Yeah.
That hurts your feelings. Well, it hurt everybody's then, because that's who we are.
Because look, if we're saying jokes or we're doing things that is offending you, just wait like 20 minutes. We'll do a news story that's going to make you go, yeah, fuck those guys. And then we'll go back and you'll be like, oh no, I'm getting my pussy hurt again.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's
Just
fine.
wait 20 minutes,
Just
it
ride the roller
changes.
coaster. It'll be fine.
It goes side to side.
Exactly. We go side to side. It's hard to follow us. A lot of undertone jokes that people may not get. Anyway,
We're horrible.
I've got to tell you about my weekend.
Oh God, no. Oh, that's right. You were rubbing shoulders with the Richies, weren't you? This weekend, Jay went to a country club, and for the
Country
first
club
time
Christmas
ever,
party.
he acted white.
No.
Like I think he even talked about the slaves.
I
he
actually
owns.
even have, out of my interactions, I've got a question
Oh, no.
of it's just a quick one round version of is it racist?
Is it racist?
So
Okay.
we're at this country club. You dress nice, whatever. Prime rib, cod, all that bullshit. My wife is just getting plowed.
I love it.
Like,
I've plowed your wife.
just, yeah, it's well, see, here's the thing. They had, when you show up, you get like so many tickets, and you're not supposed to have more than 3 drinks. Well,
How do
they
you get drunk?
they fucked up. Well, because you're not supposed to get drunk at these kind of places.
Oh, my bad.
They fucked up, and they didn't give out tickets or anything. So my wife just kept ordering drinks, and it didn't cost us a cent. So of course she's going to keep ordering more and more. So she's pretty wasted. It's a really uncomfortable situation because I don't know any of the people there. I know her and this adorable little hedgerow guy who I swear to God is probably gay. He doesn't know it yet.
He's still
He
confused
needs to go
himself.
with me. He needs to go with my intuition and be gay.
You could show him the
He
ways
looks like
of
a
man
friend of mine who was named Steve, and he was just adorable little gay fellow. She just
love.
put
You
in your
showed
He was
Steve
a
the
pocket
man
gay.
love ways. I mean,
Right? Yes.
I made Steve gay.
So yeah, you make most men gay.
I do. My bad.
So we're in this situation of listening to people talk, and then I hate eating in front of other people, especially strangers.
Which is so weird about you.
I don't think that's weird.
It is.
Really? You saying most people don't have a problem eating in front of strangers?
Yes. It's like
Really?
just a weird you thing.
Okay, I'll own that if that's the truth. I thought a lot of people have that.
No.
I think it came from being fat as a kid. You know, because like when you're fat as a kid, then you just assume like all the other kids are like, yeah, that's right, fatty, you're gonna eat that.
Okay, but
You know
if
what I
we're
mean?
being honest, we went to school with dicks.
Right here in Kansas, yeah. that's what Kansans grow better than wheat. is dicks.
Dicks.
I mean, but I don't know. It's just my thing. I have a weird. But anyway, we're sitting down eating, and my wife is incredibly antisocial. I mean,
That's why I love her.
worse than most people I know. And she's just sitting there. She's talking less than I am to these people. And so I made the biggest mistake of the night.
You talked about your slaves.
And I think, honestly, the biggest mistake of my weekend.
Oh.
My wife, my wife's coworker was sitting at our table with her husband.
Yeah.
And my wife she doesn't like, well, she doesn't, I would say doesn't like, but she's not like friends with her coworker. So it was awkward. It was like two
I
couples
still
sitting
don't
there.
understand
No one's
why
fucking
you guys
talking.
went.
You get shit.
Oh my god.
And it's the Christmas party. It's a thing. So no one says anything. So I open my mouth to her coworker's husband, and I said, "Hey, what do you do for a living?" Then for the next 30 minutes, I was told the ins and outs of this guy, and okay,
I forgot. He told
of
you all
of
about
his
it.
job. Which, by the way, you're thinking, oh, is he like a stuntman? Is he? I mean, fuck, even do radio?
No.
I don't know. Is he a weatherman? There's got to be something interesting. No, he's like an inventory manager. And if you think like, God, that sounds
love it.
boring, you don't even know. It's way worse than that. His tagline was in reference to him being able to find parts because he works for a major company and a retail box store, I should say. And whenever they have a part go out, it's his job to find it. And this man, this god of a man,
He takes pride in his job.
get this. This is his This is his thing where he's like, yeah, but see, I have. Like, this is his power. This was, he kept brandishing it like a giant sword of this great ability he has. And this is what that was. Well, since I have the internet access,
Oh my god, are you
I can
serious?
find this. I can search this. I can search that. You know, I was watching that Shark Tank, and I saw something. And, you know, since I have that internet access,
Wow.
I'm like, my dick has internet access at this point. All right, buddy? Like, everyone has internet. That's the gleaming joy of your job.
Okay, but do you know how much easier my life would be if you would stop doing these white events?
But
and
it was
see-
no. This isn't even white, okay? Like,
It's
I know.
ridiculous.
Look, you can put the race card back in the deck, there, woman. It's not about that. It's the
is.
most humdrum, boring motherfucker I've ever met. I mean, there was a guy there who was celebrating the fact that he got the movie. I think it was like Birdemic, which There's like an epidemic of birds. That's fucking great, right?
Oh my
Tattooed people, fucking, you know, a nice array of people. But no, this guy just happened to be, you know, the most boring individual in the world. I found the exact opposite to the most interesting man.
Well,
and-
and see, I don't think people realize that when you get bored, you start texting and calling like me and Cody.
And I kept doing that.
I know.
And he kept talking and talking. And that's the other thing. He loved him some him.
Some him.
And him doesn't interest anybody. I looked at his wife multiple times throughout that, and I could just see her own hands reaching closer and closer to her own neck, thinking there's no
Just end
other
it
way for
now.
me to get out of this situation.
That would have been me. Let's be honest.
It was so
But
bad.
I mean, let's think of this logically. Would you rather have been where you were or where I was? And I'm probably going to catch shit for that because, you know, I do have listeners. Because my weekend consisted of a dance team Christmas party. Because what could be more fun than 30 dancing kids in one room with their parents celebrating Christmas?
Good Lord.
Yeah. And it
No,
got to the point
ugh.
at some point, and I don't even know, because there are some dance moms that I'm friends with, and I'm okay with that. And I try really hard not to let people know how I really feel about them. So when we got home from the party, at some point my daughter was like, "So yeah, I told so-and-so's mom that you normally yawn when you're really excited when they talk.
Nice.
Did I do that?" And my daughter's like, "Oh yeah." She goes, "At one point you even rolled your eyes and told somebody that you're too busy thinking and you don't want to talk."
And so you didn't get anything out of that, right?
No.
Like, I got filet mignons, like, to take home. We got money, and I got a knife.
Do you know it'd be really nice? What if we did a work Christmas party, like a radio station Christmas party?
Well,
We could gather around
Here's the problem.
the Christmas pine tree that you hang in your car.
Here's the problem. Matt would be stuck upstairs.
Matt's upstairs.
I mean, Matt hasn't been, poor Matt.
He could come downstairs. He just has to hold onto the wheelchair.
Poor FDR legs. Can't make it down here. Cody at the moment has what I like to call vagina throat. And
Oh, God,
and
that
I
is
know
so
he says
gross.
24 hours he'll be fine, but I don't think I trust that. And he
I
doesn't
don't
understand how
either.
much I don't want to go to the doctor. So I would much rather him just take Wednesday off as well and then be 100% and
Vagina
non-contagious
throats.
here on Friday. Which you're gone Friday.
I am gone.
So
Friday.
see, like, when will we ever do this? Will has his show Thursday, I think.
Maybe we should all come in
I don't know,
tomorrow
when's River
and
Bottom
just
on?
Soggy Bottom.
River, isn't it River? I thought it was.
I thought it was Soggy Bottom. They're doing something to the bottom.
I think that was your nickname.
They're doing something down there. I don't know.
I think that's at Thursday at 5.
Is it?
So maybe we could do it during their show.
We should
should
come
call
in
in.
tomorrow and just show up and be like, "What's up?"
No, I'm good. I got stuff.
You say, are those invisible friends you talk about?
I actually think I do have something tomorrow.
You don't know, do you?
So, but anyway, yeah, you didn't even get anything out of it.
No, I didn't.
And, I mean, what's the best thing, as you know, especially when you go to a place where you're awkward as fuck, you have to drive there, like a good 45 minutes there and back,
Gross.
and you allow your spouse to get wasted. What's the best thing about that whole situation?
I better be getting good food.
No, but you're close. The mind-blowing sex when you get back. So, yeah, I mean,
I think that's cute that you say
I got
that.
laid like a cheap porn star, and I got, like, at least a knife.
See, I think it's really cute that you say that. But if I can find this, where is the last text you sent me?
Was it just kill me now?
No.
Was it the...
It's I'm so stuffed I can't move. So you're telling me you had sex on a full stomach?
No, that was after.
Uh-huh.
We got
What'd she do to you? Did she stuff you?
no, we got back at what, like 10, I think, 9 or 10,
I don't know. I don't know.
and I texted you at like 12:30 or so.
Was that it?
Either that or I texted you Sunday. I don't even remember doing that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I texted you Saturday night.
You did.
Did I?
Mm-hmm. That's how I knew you were at the country club.
I know I texted the group.
Well, and then you said your phone has gone full retard.
You know what? That's one of those things you probably shouldn't read on the air. Are you? No, that was Sunday.
That was not Sunday.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
Are you done
You're
being
right.
argumentative?
You're right. It was Saturday.
Are you done being argumentative?
But no, so we got back home probably at 9 or 10.
Is that when you tried out that new sex position?
The matriarch. Yeah, again, amazing, fantastic sex. Cleaned up. Went to go pick up my kid. Then we went, and here's the thing, went to Walmart because we forgot a few items. My wife, still completely pretty plastered, decided that would be a good time to start buying all this junk food. It's 10:30 at night, and I'm like, we got our 6-year-old out. So one of us reeks of a liquor cabinet,
And sex.
and we're out with our kid buying a bunch of junk food.
You guys look.
I pray to God we don't get pulled over.
You are so. That just makes you sound like the trashiest family. Like, I bet we could compare it with other families.
Oh, and here's the great
but
thing,
I don't want
too.
to say names because I
And-
know they're listening.
And the main reason why I bring up the sex, aside from the fact that that was the pinnacle, but also when we got dressed up again, we didn't get dressed up in our nice clothes. That's stupid. So we're like wearing like basically pajamas.
Oh my god.
We're one of those families.
You go out in public buying your nasty food in pajamas and smelling like alcohol.
Yes.
Oh
With
my
our kid.
God.
We look like a bunch of stoners who
That is
decided to get our
fantastic.
6-year-old involved in our ritual.
No, officer, my son was
Nah,
driving. My
man.
wife's drunk.
He's cool, man.
He's cool.
We can go watch the dark side of the moon.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be cool, man.
I worry about you.
I know, but I mean, I was completely sober. That's fine. Everything was good. And I think that maybe having that sober outlook is why I realized, holy shit, this doesn't look good. I mean, because
Probably not.
let's be honest, my attire, which is, I would say, hobo chic.
Don't even add the chic. It's like hobo Euro trash.
But my shirt is probably cost more than what you're wearing entirely.
Don't talk about my shawl.
It's a $65 T-shirt. My shoes, which are Nike, which are sliders, they're still like $40. Like, that's why I say chic.
You
Because,
sure?
yeah,
You just look like Euro trash.
how's a euro? How many Europeans have an anti-Donald Trump shirt?
You would be surprised.
I still don't get where you're getting euro. Because right now, in the European trash, they wear the, what's that thing? It's like a onesie for men. What is that thing called?
A union suit?
No. Romper. Rompers.
Rompims, thank you.
No, no one
No,
calls
they're
it that.
rompums, yes.
Is that really what it's called?
That's what they're
Oh,
called.
that's so fucking gay. I guarantee you
You can't.
that we're gonna see Cody come in wearing one someday. I pray
Like,
to God,
I picture
like-
buttercup yellow lace rompums.
like I know that Cody is pretty much at the mercy of his girlfriend and will do what she wants him to do. And I just hope that she has a funny sense of humor and is like, God, Cody, you look so hot in a rompum or whatever you called it.
They should get matching rompums.
I would love that so much.
And, like, took their pictures together That would be amazing. I think it should happen.
I think so too. I told you that me and Steph almost mimicked their adorable pictures,
Yes.
but funnier. But it was just laziness got in the way, as it often does with me.
It's going to start happening when he posts those because you want to talk about gay? Oh.
You know what? That's not. You shouldn't say that as a derogatory word. People get upset.
Well, it's not the first time I've offended the homosexual. So today
Yeah,
in
the first
Daily
time
News-
is when you looked at them.
Hey, I've given them so many men. They should thank me. So
Fair point.
today in news around the world, we have one of the saddest, sickest, most interesting stories out there. And I feel like it's going to be hitting big news soon for the simple fact that it is sad and disgusting. And as a country, the U.S. has some serious issues with sick, sad stories. Like Dr. Pimple Popper.
Oh.
I can watch pimple popping videos for hours.
Yeah, it's because you're a woman. Women are weird about that shit.
Do you think so?
Yeah, every girl I know is obsessed with that shit.
Cody watches them with me. Wait. Okay, I got it. Never
He
mind.
also leaves a slug trail down your leg.
Oh my God. So, anyway, this story comes to us from God, it's every time the worst stories. Jacksonville, Florida. What the fuck is wrong with Florida? So, we have in Jacksonville, Florida, York Spratling is his name, and he is a veteran. He was 84 years old.
Damn.
Yeah, and he had fought in a couple of wars. He's kind of a cute fella. You see his picture? He's an African, so he's kind of cute. He kind of looks like Ray Charles.
I mean, I guess if you want to be racist about it.
Always playing that card with me. So, York Sprawling was sent into the, let me see if they named the hospital. He was sent to the ER over the weekend. He has lived in a healthcare facility the last 5 years. So when he was sent to the ER, okay. No, and see, this is why it's important. Okay, so on February 24th, 2017, he was rushed to the ER. And it's important. When he was rushed to the ER, the hospital called his nephew, Derwin Spratling, and said, hey, your uncle was just rushed here. It's not looking good. You guys should probably get here now.
Dude.
Yeah. When the family got there, there was nobody from the nursing staff at Consulate Healthcare in Jacksonville. The family looked all over. None of the nurses, none of the reps, not even the driver was there. And when they said that they rushed him, the family assumed he took an ambulance. But no, the nursing home had one of their drivers take him, drop him off, and leave him at the door. Sadly, our cute little Ray Charles look-alike, he did die. When the doctor came out to explain to the family, he explained that York had a gangrene infection and that the infection was so bad, his blood turned septic, and there was nothing they could do.
Yeah, that's pretty nasty stuff.
So, like most families, the family was really
What the fuck
legitimately
happened?
upset.
Yeah.
Yes. The major concern was that York spent a lot of time in a wheelchair. So I really hope Matt is listening because this is something you need to watch for. And in the past at the nursing home, which I can understand if you have ever had family in a nursing home or if you yourself have been in a hospital bed, you can get some bed sores. And in the past, there had been 1 or 2 episodes where York had a sore on his backside or the back of a leg. And the family was just assuming that one of these bed sores became gangrene. He became septic
Yeah,
and
yeah.
died.
Without proper care.
Well, that's where our story takes a sad, sick turn. His gangrene...
He'd actually been hanging out with Cody.
Yes. His gangrene infection came from his taint. Apparently, due to healthcare costs, the nursing home in Jacksonville had released 32 overnight nurses. So York had not been bathed properly for several months.
Holy shit.
His gangrene infection had removed his genitals.
Holy
To help save him, the doctors removed what flesh was left, and he would have had to have a colostomy bag and a bladder bag because there really was nothing to save.
How old was he?
84.
Yeah, I think 84. If you got to take all that shit out, put
Just
new
take
pipes
it.
in.
According to the doctors that were treating him, this gangrene infection had to have been going on at least 4 months. They're not for sure what happened, if there was a scratch, a bug bite, something happened, or it could have been just a piece of dirt rubbing it's a sensitive
The
skin,
skin
area.
rot, right.
But that is how this poor man died.
Holy shit.
A gangrene infection ate his genitals.
Yeah, it does sound like he's been hanging out with Cody. Let me ask you a question on that real quick. And we do have some other stuff. More me predicting the future. And not in a good way, by the way.
Right?
So, and I mean this with all, delicate hands I can use. Could that happen to like a really fat person who can't wash their undercarriage? Was that not asked properly? I apologize.
I'm gonna say yes.
I'm just saying, like, if you're
I know,
if you're
he's-
like if you're like 450 and you can't get the arm down there,
I'm gonna say if you can't like touch your genitals,
Cody will do it for you.
like go to a nurse. Do you know what I mean? Just
That would
go to us.
suck.
And this is why it's important because, as I said, this happened. He died February 24th, 2014. The state is just now getting around to saying his death was caused by negligence.
And
The
look,
nursing home is at fault.
look, I know that there's gonna be like people like Milo and Candace Owens who are gonna be like right on board with me here. And I don't mean it this way, but like when the whole Ashley Graham came out and people were like, she's too fat. I was like, nah, man, that's where I want to be. That's what I like. But when you get too big to wash yourself, like, yeah, come on. Like, can you imagine going to the hospital and being like, yeah, I can't wash my taint anymore. So why don't you take a loofah and get to scrubbing? I got some barnacles built up.
I
Like,
fucking hate you so much.
no, but you know what I mean, don't you?
do.
I mean,
Okay, but can you stop talking about?
and
So-
it's more honestly, I'll be serious about it.
I know.
It is more like a question of, holy shit, can that just happen to someone?
And that's what I think is going to be the biggest issue. There have been 5 other cases from this same nursing home.
I just meant like a normal person,
No,
like
no,
just somebody who is like 450 or
no.
isn't flexible. Like, yeah,
Well, and that's where I think it's going to be brought up because there are 5 other cases from the same nursing home where a bed sore was gangrene. So you're talking people who are in comas, who can't use their legs, that can't bathe. I think what you're talking about,
yeah. No, I'm talking about just a normal person,
I don't think so.
or a homeless person who isn't able to like wash.
But most homeless people can get into like a river
I'm talking
or
more
lake.
like New York City homeless. Like where like it would be better if they don't wash instead of
I
go into
think-
the local water.
But before it hits the gangrene, like when it hits the cellulitis stage, I think that's when they're like when the fever hits and they're found shaking from having a high fever with a seizure.
yeah.
They're automatically sent to the hospital.
Yeah.
This guy was not sent until he had no testicles.
Yeah, I'm not saying
because he legitimately had
that was just
gangrene.
completely negligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not saying I'm like I got a little overhang on the gut. I always make sure to put like a little swipe of deodorant under there because we all know
Little baby powder.
it's not good for it, you know. But I just meant like yeah, could a normal person develop that?
I'm gonna say no simply because he legitimately had gangrene. Like his whole genital area had been eaten and it was turning black. Like there was dead tissue there.
Oh, God, in the pain.
I mean, and that's what I'm thinking is between most homeless people could feel pain. This man had to feel pain. He had to have had a
Oh, of
fever.
course, yeah.
You know, and most homeless people I would hope would have, okay, there's something wrong. They would have been found by someone apparently more caring than this nursing home.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, and it's just now being decided that the nursing home is negligent, and they're going back to review the last 5 cases where this gangrene has come from, because until the people actually had gangrene, which is basically black dead tissue, liquefied green goo running through your body, they're not sending people in for care. Good side note, that was in 2017.
Sounds delicious.
The nursing home is still open with patients.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So
Well,
I
I
really
mean,
hope
well-
this case takes off because, wow.
I know some people that would send their parents there because of their treatment.
Okay,
Hey,
can you not
fuck you,
talk
Mom.
about Cody? He's really upset right now.
Look, so one area where I said that we do predict the future at times, and I unfortunately am more and more correct on this one. Again, I don't want to be, and I'm going to be honest here too. This wasn't my complete analytical talents that came out. It's just been paying attention to the right people early on. Earlier this year, quite a long time ago, in fact, I said our economy shouldn't be as celebrated as it is, especially if you're Donald Trump, who keeps saying, "Look how good I'm doing with the economy," and that's become the reason why so many people say, "Oh, is Donald Trump? You know, how do you think of Donald Trump's presidency?" Socially, he sucks. This way, he sucks. But his economy is fantastic. And everyone keeps talking about that. And I said it almost a year ago. I was like, look, if I was Donald Trump, I would not use that. And my reasoning for that is because most economists have said we are going to head to a giant recession, a
Exactly.
bad recession. One that we probably won't actually even see the end of. We're going to microinflate it, falsely adjust it. We're still going to see the shit of 2008, but what we should really be facing is a recession that we've never faced before.
Exactly.
Which, again, it'll fix itself if we ride it out, but we probably won't. Politicians and companies control the land. They want what they can when they can. They'd rather put a Band-Aid over it than get it scanned for cancer. And that's probably what we'll do. But breaking news, Wall Street fell again with the S&P 500 down over 2%. It's the lowest point for the year as investors awaited a likely Fed rate increase. Tech firms, the healthcare industry, small business, and corporations were all falling after a survey suggested some softening in the national outlook for growth. The number one trending topic right now is what is a recession and why are people talking about it. And on that note, we've had Niraj Chayoshi write in, the economy may be healthy, but the cynics about... he wrote that really rude. Anyway, even though many say conditions remain strong, several large investors see the risks of a recession rising, with half of the chief financial officers expecting one to strike next year, according to a recent survey. A survey of chief executives at a Yale University Summit conference held last week found that almost half thought the country could find itself in a recession as soon as the end of this month, which is there again. I didn't want to put a time frame on it, but I said by Christmas we might have some problems. It's anyone's guesses when the good times will end, but it's complicated. Volatile world. It's not a question of if a recession is coming, but when. Things like the tariffs that we're doing in global trade are only making it more volatile and scaring investors that might keep the ship going another couple months. But in the end, we will definitely be in a different place by this summer. So yeah, that was written, like I said, by one of the better known economists, Niraj Shayosky. And yeah, again, that was one story I was hoping, hey, maybe I'll be wrong at, but there was just no way to be wrong with that one, to be honest. Anyone could see it coming if you pay attention. If you know,
No one wants, especially something as serious as what that is. No one wants to be right. Nobody
No.
wants to face the truth that this is what's going to happen. I mean, it's like when Trump was elected president. You're right. I was not happy. Did I want him to fail? No. Why would I want the leader of the free world to fail? That is completely idiotic. I don't have to be happy about it. I don't want him to fail. Did I ever think we would be where we are now? No. I mean, seriously, what kind of president's going out, getting peed on by Russian hookers, paying his mistresses for abortions?
There is no proof of the first one.
Yet.
I don't think the P tapes are real. I really
But
don't.
I mean, did you ever think that it would be this bad?
No,
because
not
that's
in a lot
not
of,
what
ways,
people
no.
want.
Yeah.
And talking, nobody wants a recession. I mean, especially
it's-
one is what it's going to be.
Well, and on this show, and I know I did like an hour with Cody earlier this year when Trump said he was not going to rehire Janet Yellen. And I went off and I wanted to explain why Janet Yellen is one of the greatest women our country will never know what she's done. She was a financial economist under Obama, which doesn't make her good, by the way, just because she was under Obama. But what she did to stabilize the markets and bring us up from the recession and to keep it stabilized, that was really the most important thing, is just to honor the stabilization of the markets. And she was able to do that by fixing different rates, setting different inflation. I mean, it really, when you look at it, becomes just a task of a surgeon's hand.
Yeah.
And she was able to do that. And so when she got fired by Trump, I was like, we're definitely fucked. Like, he's enjoying all of her hard work. And he's probably going to put Jared Kushner in charge of it after this, and we're going to see what happens. And again, it's not all Trump. This has been coming for 7-8 years. We'd never hit the bottom in 2008 like we should have. So there's also that to put into place.
A man taking advantage of a woman's hard work.
Well, I mean, Obama did it too.
But I mean, I'm not surprised.
So, yeah, just speaking of men-women issue,
Oh.
to go from something that I find, honestly, I think the recession is more depressing than this, although this is quite depressing. CBS, the great TV station, got a lot of good stuff. They had a CEO by the name of Leslie Moonves. I think we all remember that gentleman he was fired for multiple sexual assault accusations.
Kinda. It's
This
apparently inappropriate.
Yeah, and you should, kind of watch your Me Too actions, especially when you're in the media. Just,
Keep going.
especially if you're talking to comics. Anyway, so CBS announced that Mr. Moonves, who was forced out in September after multiple allegations of sexual misconduct, has breached his employment contract. Although, since he will be fired for cause, and as a result, he will not receive his exit payout. And sadly for Mr. Moonves, he missed out on $120 million, which was going to be his severance.
With things like that, I mean,
Which, okay, can I ask you a question on a follow-up on that?
yeah.
He was never proven that he did it.
Is it still under investigation?
I mean, he was just fired. There's no criminal charges held up against him. You had some women, they said multiple, so I don't know exactly how many, but you had some women say he did this. And then the company fires him, and he misses out on his severance, which is all the work he put into that company.
That sucks for him.
But what if he didn't do it?
It would really suck. I get what you're saying. My biggest issue is there wasn't just a couple. It was multiple. Like, wasn't it in the 60s?
No, God, no. It was nowhere that high. I mean, we're talking less than 10.
Was it
Yeah.
less than 10?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I don't know the number exactly. Because around that time, we had
there was a
some
bunch
issue
going on.
with Mr. Kavanaugh. He was kind of taking up that time.
There should always be an investigation, in my opinion. I
You
mean,
think, like, a criminal investigation should always be done?
yes.
What if the victim doesn't want it? Because, yeah, let me ask you this. If the victim does not want a criminal investigation done, do they then have to admit kind of fault in that and then say the perpetrator or, we can't even say perpetrator, the suspect is then assumed guilt-free?
I don't know, because most people who are coming forward, they normally want it out there. I mean, I see your point. I don't know. I would have done an investigation. Because I feel like if you're guilty, it'll come out.
Right.
I want to know
exactly.
if you're guilty, because I feel bad for men who are blamed for stuff that they didn't do. I mean, I'm surprised I haven't gotten investigated for.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alex Elkin needs to have the
Alex
the
Elkin
KBI
has
come
legitimate
and-
reasons, and there's probably more videotapes out there of what I did to that poor man. But I mean, I own that. I admit I let Cody fondle him in front of me.
You admit you were wrong and you were the perpetrator of
I was,
a mass movement of
Molesting
molesting comics.
comics.
Yeah.
yeah. But I truly believe there should be an investigation. There could be more women. It could be a lie.
I agree with you. I 100% agree that there should be. But also, and I can't answer this question because I'm not a woman. I've just statistics, right? It's all I can kind of go by. And by the way, if you have anything to mention on it, call in 316-778-0529. 316-778-0529. But I could see that there would be a number of women who don't want the law involved because of all the hassle.
The backlash.
Yeah, and the backlash.
I
But
mean,
also
and
the-
especially in today's society, once your name is out there,
yeah, then
even if there is video
you're the
proof.
raped chick. Yeah.
And that's how I mean, because if there's a video of you being raped, you still have hundreds of people. Well, maybe she wanted it, because that's what people are like.
Yeah.
I can understand
I'm
why
still
they don't.
remembered for that video that got released in Southern California.
Well, it was a goat. You need to stop.
I didn't want it.
I didn't want it. You did. I saw the way you looked at the goat. It was in the
I
video.
could say no up until the end, right? That's when I said no.
When you didn't finish
I
and the
said-
goat did, that was it. You were done.
Cheap ass goat.
I do. My biggest thing is that if the way he was terminated, it really makes me question, because there was not a lot released about it.
No,
Did
not
they
really.
have proof? And instead of a huge investigation, this is what we have, you're fired. Because I know businesses that do that.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it happened to somebody we knew, my poor husband, because of video proof. Well, that happened a lot during that time at the store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's fuzzy on my end, to be honest. But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And that
Um,
was the only saving grace, was there was video proof on 3 different separate occasions of what was happening. And instead of prosecuting and calling police, this is your option. You're terminated. Or we can do this and go to court.
Right, right. And I think that's kind of the way. I don't know.
Right?
And look, I will say this too, from my perspective. That fucking severance is way too goddamn much for one. Like
Yeah.
$120 million
And see, that's my
severance.
big-
That's insane. But like,
It's
look,
a huge ass severance for one person.
and I'm sure all of the CEOs of that company have that type of package. So, you know, I'm not going to just disparage him because of everyone else getting that. But I will say that it makes me uneasy that without proof, we're able to do that to somebody. Now, I'm not saying that we shouldn't believe the victims, because we should.
Mhm.
That's the only reason. I mean, that's why you do an investigation. Is because
Exactly.
you believe the victims. But if nothing's ever proven out of it, then I can see this as a situation where companies are then going to manipulate workers. You understand what I'm saying?
I
Hey,
do.
Dad's been working at the flour mill for 50 years. He has a giant severance package. Then all of a sudden, oh, he's sexually harassing a chick, and he gets fired without his severance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, and I don't trust companies in that manner to not pay their employees what they've earned. And I'm not talking about some giant conspiracy that this would happen, but I could kind of see it in a manner of speaking. I mean,
I agree with you, but I really do question.
well, remember when it was a conspiracy that, oh, these companies are going to start cutting people's hours right to before they get benefits. And everyone's like, no, companies wouldn't do that. That's ridiculous. No one would do. And then,
They did.
boom, it happened. And that's a common practice now. I don't want to lop all that together, but it has to be kind of
I'm not saying it doesn't, because it is a legitimate concern. I don't think it is in this case, for the simple fact that he has not done any form of turnaround. Do you know what I mean?
As in,
If this was you and you were innocent and they kept your severance, I don't see you sitting idly by and letting that happen.
we might find out more. This just broke like
And
about an hour ago. So
I
he's-
really
he's
want to
probably
know
just
more.
found out an hour ago.
Do you know what
too.
I mean? Like, I really am. I'm kind of interested in what's going to happen, because that is a huge severance. And if he has earned that money,
To the company standards, I don't
Exactly.
think anyone can earn that kind of money or
Right.
should be whatever. But yeah, to the company
I
standards.
do. I think it's going to be an interesting case, and I really hope that they've done everything legally that they can, because if they haven't, you sure as shit know he will find something.
Yeah, and I think it's without a doubt a conversation, and maybe even if he is completely guilty, I am not saying he's not.
Yeah,
So
that's
don't
not what
don't
we're saying.
screw my words. What I'm saying though is that in these situations, I think the reason to be careful, especially when companies are involved, is just because if they can find a way to fuck you,
They will.
Yeah, and maybe even I know for a fact that there is another twisted person like myself, but who works for one of these companies, who's starting to read this, and they're like, "Hey,
Right?
I got an idea. Let's save some money." Because, I mean, companies are by law. By the law, they're supposed to make money for their investors, no matter
Exactly.
how. You know,
I mean,
hook,
that's the
crook,
whole
or-
point
or
of having
fair
a
line.
company. At the
That's-
end of the day, you want the money.
If they can save 10 cents by firing you, they'll do it.
Right? I do feel like, though, that if this is legitimate, that is a huge severance. Can you not split that up to the lower paid people?
Oh, agreed.
Or even-
100%, yeah.
What about some sort of training on how not to sexually harass people?
There we go. Yeah,
I feel like we need that training
And as
here.
far as like corporate spending reform, I'm completely.
Mhm.
That's a conversation that definitely needs to happen.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying on this end, without there being proof and without him being
That's a lot
guilty,
to.
that's yeah.
And
I-
I'm going to
I
take
could see
it
them
that.
even saying like, look, you get 20%.
Yeah.
But what you're saying though too is, does the company know more than
That's
we
what
do?
I'm thinking.
And I would agree with that assessment.
And
That's
I'm going to
probably
take
what
it
is.
as that if nothing happens from this, like there's no countersuit, there's nothing,
Then he was guilty.
then he was guilty
Yeah,
and
yeah.
there's proof, and he is just damn lucky.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would definitely agree with that. moving on to our next story, which I don't.
Do you want to take a break real quick?
No, I don't,
You're the boss.
because we've got 20 minutes,
Okay, then go.
Right.
Talk to me.
and we'd have to move around the court, and I don't want to move around the court. So, latest report that came out from federal investigations. Unfortunately, it's not about Trump. So, any of you who are excited, hey, there's some Trump bashing today. We may not get to any Trump bashing.
I have nothing
It's a
Trump.
big shock.
I did have something Trump related, but we don't have to go there.
This one though is Russian bashing. So
Ooh, I like this.
it did just break out 42 minutes ago in a report that the Russian effort to influence the 2016 election targeted African Americans. In some cases, Facebook ads were targeted at users who had shown interest in particular topics, including Black history, the Black Panther Party, and Malcolm X. The operation also tried to suppress Democratic turnout and unleashed a blizzard of posts on Instagram that rivaled or exceeded its Facebook operations, according to report from Senate Intelligence Committee. Thoughts on that?
That's just interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, because on one hand, you do have a party, the Republicans, who've never done well with African Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And so that seems like a strategical attack, correct?
Yeah.
And without a doubt, we're seeing that to be the truth. On the other hand, I think the Russian meddling's kind of bullshit. Do you understand? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I don't feel like. I feel like there was some Russian meddling. Do you know what I mean?
Of course. There was Chinese meddling as well.
I don't feel like this is the meddling, though. This is one of the fucked up Facebook algorithms. Like we talked about the other day.
That's a good point.
I can post 5 times on our Revolution Radio page. But by God, if I post 6, it locks me out.
Yeah.
Which is why we don't post as much as we do. It's one of those weird algorithms. And if you're looking up Malcolm X or powerful speakers, technically at that time somebody
Vlad
was
Putin.
running for president. Do you know what I
that
mean?
and Vlad Putin was a powerful speaker. No, I mean, like, for some reason, too, I've been told by a large number of paranormal investigators, and these guys don't know me, by the way. They don't know the audacity that I blasted one of their fellow
Oh my God, that
kinsmen
was great.
on this air.
Such a fucking waste of space.
I killed that guy. They don't know that, but they've told me, hey, for some reason you keep popping up as a suggested friend in the
Yes.
paranormal activity group. Why?
Well,
I mean, I have nothing to do.
do you
in
know
that
what I mean? Because
regard.
when you search,
But it's a weird algorithm.
it's an
thing.
algorithm.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the things that have been happening because we've all talked about how we're getting random requests from people and we have to vet these people. For you, it's the comedians. You have gotten a lot of comedian friend requests. Where on the other end, I'm not only getting just a couple of the same comedians you are, but I'm getting the producers. I'm getting their representatives. Do you know what I mean? Not Mike Cannon,
Yeah.
but the person that represents him.
I wish I
That's
could be
who I'm
friends with
getting.
him.
And I can kind of see that because when I do stuff behind the scenes, that algorithm and those codes are all embedded on my computer. I think this is more of a crazy way that algorithms work. You watch a lot of comedians. It's going to make sense.
In more than one way.
It's going to make sense.
I've learned how to hack into ADT.
that Facebook and Twitter are going to represent or send you more requests for comedians. People you may know. You may know this person. Whereas
True.
on the other end, the people who represent them, their companies. Those are the people who they're going to suggest that I be friends with.
So why would Facebook say, "Hey, you like African American stuff? Have you checked out Russia?" Like, where's the
Well,
correlation in that?
I'm assuming that racism switched to Russia somehow because they're kind of similar, or people who hate black people.
But I mean,
and then there's Putin's face.
there's racism going around everywhere in the world. In fact, I would argue that there's very little in Russia because, well, it's just all white people there. There's all Russian white people.
Maybe it's a way. Maybe the algorithm is trying to convince Africans to move to Russia.
Like, have you seen
They need some
have
more
you seen
diversity.
Putin's last speech? I'm not kidding. When they pan over the crowd, there's two black people,
It looks
and
like a
you
Proud
can
Boy
see
moment.
You can see them from like a mile away because you're like, oh, that looks weird. One of
You
these
know that
things
there's
are
a
not like the
KKK
other.
flag
Yeah, I mean,
somewhere and a couple of hoods, but maybe it's Russia's way of
I
the
resent
algorithm
that comment, by the way.
because
I
you
don't-
used to wear a hood.
No, I don't think Russians are bad people.
What I'm saying is Russia wants the black people there.
Yeah, probably. They probably
So
do
they're
now.
trying to be diversifying by whenever anybody types in Russia, or whenever a black person's online looking up Malcolm X, redirect them to Russia.
I think China does too.
There's a lot of Asian people in China. Maybe they need more black people.
You know why? Yeah, because their sports teams all suck.
You know what? If that happened, if I was looking up I'm trying to think of a great Mexican leader.
Yeah, good luck.
But do you know what I mean?
Zapata.
There you go. If China offered this for all Mexicans, you can relocate for like $20,000. How many do you think are going to leave the United
But that
States?
wasn't what it was though either. Let's be honest. What they claim it was.
I think
They claimed it was propaganda that said if you looked up Black Panther, if you looked up, and not just the movie, but if you looked up
Black Panther the movie. Why
right?
are you like this?
If you looked up Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, what have you, you would find. You're messing up my board.
I know.
You would then be told, "Hey, you should vote for Trump." That's what they're saying. That's what they're saying. The meddling happened.
I don't
now,
think it's that. I think it's these crazy algorithms. Do you know what I mean?
I think
I really do.
if I'm being 100%, I'll believe what they're saying, right? But I think that it's bullshit to blame the outcome of the elections on that meddling, because it assumes, number one, not just African Americans, but all people. But we're gonna, since it said targeted African Americans, we're gonna go with that. The how do I put it? The Democratic Party, and in this case, the Federal Investigation Committee, are deeming it that black people are too weak-minded to think for themselves. That, since Facebook told them to vote for Trump, they voted for Trump. They can't think outside of the box. That's what they're saying, because they don't want to believe that Hillary Clinton was shit. Hillary Clinton was... You ever take a dump that just won't come out of your asshole, and you keep pushing, and you're like, get the fuck out of my asshole? Yeah.
Like you kind of want to dig it out. Yeah, that's your Hillary.
No.
Yeah.
That's your George W.
That's
Bush.
your George W.
When you finally get that giant turd out of your asshole, and then you can't flush it, and you're doing everything you can. You got the coat hanger out. You got all sorts of tools trying to get that fucker down the toilet. That's Hillary Clinton. And that was the candidate they put up.
What's wrong with you?
And here's the thing. Here's my thing. They keep running this narrative because, let me just get to this. The reason they keep running this narrative is because they don't want Bernie to run in 2020. And they don't want to have to admit that they fucked over progressives and that Bernie Sanders was the right choice and they fucked him over. And that's why I think this whole thing is ran on with Russia.
And I know you just went on this tangent, but all I can think of is you're telling me black people are quiet. Or do you know what? Or they're meek and they don't speak their mind.
I'm saying
you
that's
met
what they're.
black
That's what
people?
I'm saying. They're telling us
Which is
by this
weird.
report by saying, "Oh, the Russians told them to vote for Trump, so they did."
And that's why I don't get this report. Like, do you think the people that made this report have met black people? When was the last time you saw a black woman in Walmart being quiet?
Or any people.
Exactly.
How many times have you posted something that said unequivocally, climate change is real? 99% of all scientists, accredited scientists, say climate change is happening.
It's fake news.
Exactly.
It's fake news.
Exactly. You can't just do a couple posts or some even some
Yeah.
targeting ads and change the way people think. No, black people and Mexican people and white women all said, "You know what? This fucking Hillary Clinton is just a douche." And I don't agree with Trump on weird social issues, but he is a businessman. And he is talking about draining the swamp, which I'm a fan of. I want to get rid of
He's
these
draining
people.
it very well right now.
He wants to do it with NAFTA, which if you're not a scholar in bills and whatever, it may not mean that much to you. But like for someone like myself, NAFTA is a piece of shit agreement. So okay, all right, let's try this out. And that's why he got the votes. It was because ultimately the Democratic Party fucked over Bernie Sanders. And they don't want to have to admit,
No.
hey, we lost the election. And come to half of their party, at least half of their party, and say, we're not going to do that again. Listen, if Bernie wins the primaries, no, I take that back. We're not going to affect the primaries like we did in 2016. We're going to let the actual winner win, and you can put your trust back in the Democratic Party, and then we'll run the best qualified candidate. But they don't want to they don't want to admit that they did that for one. But we all know it.
Yeah.
And I mean,
do.
I'm telling you, if Bernie, Richard Ojeda, Elizabeth Warren, I'm really torn on Beto O'Rourke because certain things have come out about him. Whatever. But if we have a strong progressive who's running, and they fuck us over for a Hillary Clinton or a Joe Biden, I fuck them. I mean, I think I'm done with that party. And they keep putting this propaganda out. I honestly think this whole Russia bullshit is on the heels of the Democratic Party. I think
I
they're
can
the
see
ones
that.
creating it.
I can see certain parts of it. I mean, we know that there is meddling.
Of course.
But this,
yeah.
this is just a bullshit tactic. And if nothing else, it's just the stupid algorithms. I mean, you can look up anything on Amazon,
I look up butt plugs all the time.
and that's why your Facebook page is full of them.
Yeah, that's why I got the unicorn.
I really thought that was just a horn that you were playing with. I didn't even know that was for something else.
But no, you're 100% right, and it's just I don't know. It's the assumption that gets me is you people were fooled. No,
it's
I mean,
not that.
we don't believe in your process.
I mean, there is a logical reason why, and I'm going to go with the algorithms. And there's a logical reason why Hillary lost. It's very sad.
She's a piece of shit.
And Democrats don't turn out.
That-
If nothing else, that has been proved in the last 4 years.
I see, and that's where I disagree. I think when you have strong candidates, they do turn out. I mean, this year, midterms was really good for Democrats. But they
Yeah.
ran strong candidates and people you could back. Richard Ojeda flipping 41 points in a beat red state. Beto O'Rourke, what he did. I mean, Ted Beta Cruz typically wins Texas
Ted Cruz.
by 20 to 30 points. Beta almost made it 50-50.
Ted Cruz. Such
Beto, I called him Beta.
God. And I want you to know, because of that comment, if the state of Texas contacts us, I am giving them your info. You
Go
know
ahead.
he is not a beta. He's a man. He's a man that loves Trump.
See, I would also reply to them because
I
I've been
know you
meaning to
would.
do this on Facebook to just remind people. Ted Cruz shared incest porn on Twitter. Just in case people forgot about that. He did share incest porn
He
on
also
Twitter.
doesn't want you masturbating.
I know, but apparently he likes it. Thinking about his mom or some weird shit.
Hey, his mom's hot. Leave him alone.
Although, to be honest, if he would just manned up to it and he was like, look, the chick in the video I thought was hot. I know it's fake incest. I would be with him 100%. Because if you're on YouPorn, I swear to God, 90% of it's incest porn now.
Oh my God.
Stepmom, this.
He made
Blah,
it
blah,
okay
blah.
for the state of Texas to
ugh.
admit what it's been doing for years. It's okay now.
Again, I think there's something happening in the porn industry. I mean,
You haven't seen a good porno in years, let's be honest.
well, I don't know why you bring it up. And you could look at whatever. You could say, oh, well, that's what you were into before. But no, I've purposely avoided these videos. And, I mean, they're there.
You are
God, there's some
seriously looking
really
up
weird
incest
shit.
porn.
I'm not. See, that's my thing. I'm not. I just go to the front page and okay, this might be correcting me.
Oh my God.
All right, I'm wrong on this one.
Is it still the animal porn you're into?
No, 90% of the time though, you go there and on the front page, Cody and I have talked about this as being like this really weird thing. Like they're trying to push incest porn on you. It's like, no. So I'm just saying, if he admitted it, that like, look, I'm not into the actual incest aspect. I just thought this chick was hot.
Look like
Then
my
I'd be like, you know what?
mom.
I get you, Ted. I'm with
He
you.
was wanting to make sure it wasn't his mom or his aunt. He was wanting to make sure that their identities were hidden. That's all. It was research.
I'm just saying we've all been there before. You're not actually into the story of it.
I'm not into porn.
Really? Not at all?
You know, when I quit doing porn, it kind of lost its thing for me.
Like once you're behind the black sheet of it
You
all,
know,
you're just,
Yeah. You know, I thought doing the videos would be helpful. It's not. It just made me hate it.
That's what Adrian told me.
Right?
I was
Well,
like, God.
he was the worst sound guy ever. I'm going to hear about that when I get home. So, we need to talk about El Salvador.
Do we?
Yeah, we do. Sad story from El Salvador. And, oh, my God, this is fantastic. So there was an update to my story.
It's funny when that happens, isn't it? Because you're like trying to follow along.
Look,
and you're
it was
like,
at 4
bullshit."
o'clock.
Right?
Yeah, today
Yeah.
at 4. So Imelda Cortez Palacios has been in El Salvador prison for 20 months.
Can I, before you go on, I just had one question to ask.
Oh, my God.
Why are you able to say her name, but you can't say Tuesday?
I can say
Because that's
Tuesday.
impressive.
Fuck you. I'm Canadian, okay? So, Imelda Cortez Palacio has been behind bars for 20 months. She was 19 when she went to jail. And what happened is kind of important, and I'm really excited for the fact that they have updated her case. So, what happened is really tragic. In El Salvador, it is completely illegal to have an abortion. Any type of abortion, even talking about abortion or bringing it up to a healthcare physician, it can really hurt you in the end,
Jesus, I'd be in prison for like
right?
a lifetime.
So, in April of 2017, Imelda was rushed to the hospital. She was found in a latrine, and this is why I think this case is important. She had passed out after giving birth in a latrine. She is from a very poor village, and people share a latrine.
Could I ask you a quick question
Yes.
on that? And if you don't have the answer, I totally understand. I've been there. When they say latrine, is that like a giant community bathroom?
It
like
is
an
a
outhouse
huge,
kind
like,
of thing?
dugout and it's a huge outhouse. Like, there's
Okay,
separate
okay.
wooden stalls, and you poop in the hole, and it just goes down in this dugout thing.
Gotcha.
It's a latrine.
Okay, all right. I just had no idea what the I've heard
No.
that term before, and I was like, I
No,
always thought that
and
was
I do.
military.
Well, and like when you think latrine, you think the army guys.
Yes, yeah.
That's what it is. But there's just a wooden plank with a hole above it.
Good times.
Yeah.
You could do anything in that hole.
Oh, well, you'd be covered in poo. You know what? We're not going to go there, so shut up. So, and because I did look up the rest of this case.
Not for less than $25. Let me tell you.
You learned you learned
Yes.
last time.
Trump really stiffs you.
I knew the P was true. So, because I did look it up. So I'm glad you brought that up because I did look into this story. Imelda had given birth, passed out from the pain, and woke up in the hospital. The infant was found in the latrine.
Oh.
The doctors took care of the infant. There was really no health issues. She might have been a couple of weeks early, but other than that, the baby was fine. When Imelda woke up, the physician attending her asked her what happened because she herself had passed out. And Imelda remembers, because remember, she's a 19-year-old child. She remembers a great pain. She couldn't poop for a couple of days. She thought she was sick. And that's why she was on the latrine pushing. And the next thing she knows, she wakes up in the hospital. Doesn't really remember anything. Well, they asked her how the last few weeks had been. And Imelda admitted she'd been sick for a while. She had gained weight. Has really no idea. And it had been determined after the first went to court. Imelda also has the mental capabilities of maybe a 5-year-old. She's not completely old there. The nurse reported that Imelda had no idea what was going on and talked with the physician. As these two are talking, another nurse came in and explained, "You have given birth." Imelda had no idea. And her and this nurse became friends. And the nurse asked her what happened. Imelda has been raped by her stepfather since she was 12. This is her stepfather's baby she just had.
Oh.
So as she's explaining, her friend nurse went to call the authorities. In the other room, the physician is on the phone and claimed Imelda tried to have an abortion. So still covered in afterbirth and blood and poo because she was in a latrine.
Right.
The police came, arrested Imelda, and threw her in jail where she finished the afterbirth in
Holy
jail.
Shit.
She was denied cleaning, showers, or anything, and was prosecuted the next day and considered guilty for having an abortion.
But the baby was fine.
Yes. The stepfather took the baby home and raised it the last 20 months. 3 months ago, the nurse who had been so kind and was trying to figure out what happened did a DNA test. This is the stepfather's baby. There is pictures from when Imelda was 8. She has been raped and brutalized her whole life by this man. And it has been announced at 4 o'clock today, they have decided to absolve her of all charges. This
Good,
woman
good.
has been sitting in jail
Yeah, I
since
mean, and that's fucking awful.
2017 for an abortion she didn't have.
Which is ridiculous.
Exactly. And here's why I think we should be talking
But
about
what-
this case.
Did they say what's going to happen to the guy?
Nothing. He's a stepfather. It's not incest.
Now, let me ask you a question real quick. Would you want to escape that country? You know what I mean? Like,
Well, and here's why this is important. Because, and it's not just about an abortion case, which I do have strong feelings about abortion. No time, because she was 19 when she gave birth, did Imelda say she was having an abortion. She had no idea.
She had no idea, yeah.
She didn't even know she was pregnant. She didn't know where babies came from.
Yeah, I mean,
And that's why they were trying to the case went to court today. And I was waiting for them to post tonight what happened.
I'm glad they absolved her.
Imelda said when this started, this is how daddies show babies love.
Jesus.
In El Salvador, there is no age of consent. Her stepfather has legally done nothing wrong.
Has anyone told Trump about this? I mean, we're all talking impeachment, but he might just move.
You know what? I bet he would like this case a lot, wouldn't he?
He would.
Well,
My God,
yeah,
if I could just go back 30 years when Ivanka was 12.
right? But I think, and this is where it should be brought to light. And with the absolving, I don't think it's going to get as much attention as it needs. You are talking about a country who has made it completely illegal for abortions.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the thing too is like the follow up is what happens to her when she goes back with this guy. What
Exactly.
happens to this baby?
What has happened to the baby for
Yeah.
this child is almost 2.
And now that it's on, you know, you got rape, molestation, incest. And so now that it's hit the spotlight, Ted Cruz is going to stop paying this family for the videos.
It's
I mean, I really didn't wanna-
exactly. Well, and now
But no, seriously though. Yeah, I mean,
and it makes you wonder where in the states of Arkansas and Mississippi, Virginia, and now Tennessee, where they're wanting to completely outlaw all forms of abortion. These cases are why.
Can
And
I
you're
s-
right.
can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Oh, did you have more on that? Because
No,
it's
that-
awful. But I did want to ask you if you knew what was Kansas. What was there was some sort of
Kansas has
was it
made it.
woman right or abortion right or something?
Kansas has made
like
it
just last
completely
week.
illegal for oral third trimester abortions.
Okay. I'm not
Um,
totally against that.
For a second trimester abortion, there has to be a doctor's, has to be a medical reason.
Yeah. Okay.
And to get the abortion, you have to watch a video about what happens during the abortion.
You have to now.
Yes.
Anyway, or you had to before anyway.
No, it's a different type of video. There's 2 videos now.
One with just a Dyson and the other
Exactly.
one with a coat hanger.
It's-
I mean,
And I'm not still for sure what this other video shows. And there's a 48-hour window. Like, you have to go in, watch the videos, get the literature, and then come back in 48 hours.
So, did they say any medical? I mean, is there any? And again, I'm asking you off the top of my head. So if you don't know, I get it. But I mean, if you find out that your kid is gonna be, you know, a little of mice and menish, and you don't want, you know, to deal with a burden.
That is
so to
not
speak.
considered a legal reason why.
It's not a legal reason.
A medical reason why, and I mean, I guess it's okay. If if there's like a spina bifida, where the spine is not fully closed.
Yeah.
If the sonogram shows the intestines are still outside the body,
Oh
that does happen.
God, that'd kill me now.
If there's lung problems or heart problems where your child may not be born alive.
I mean, that makes.
If the mother has,
What if the mother could
and I'm
die?
trying to think, because there's only a couple of reasons.
Or there's that weird thing where like their brain's exposed and they live, but it's like a horrible life until they're
Oh,
like 3 or 4 and then they die.
Cephaly? Something like that. No, that's not a legal reason.
That's not a legal
It
reason.
is not a legal reason.
See, fuck that. Like, I'll be honest. If I got Steph knocked up, and they said, "Look, your kid is gonna have a horrible life. It's gonna be
Has no skull.
it's gonna be in horrible pain." Again, also no skull, because that would ick me out. Like, ew, that thing away from me. I don't need Slimer from the Ghostbusters being like my
Slimer.
kid.
Oh my god. You're going to hell for that one.
Probably. But I mean, but then to know that it's going to die at 4 or 5. So I'm going to get attached and I'm going to love this thing, even though I'm watching it go through just
Yes.
traumatic pain.
It is not a legal reason
Then
why.
and once it gets to know life and to appreciate life, its life's going to be over. Yeah, fuck that. I mean,
Exactly.
I'd take it out back and just shoot it if I had to.
Well, and I'm trying to think, because I know, and I'm talking, it has to be a dire need. Because as everybody knows the kind of pussy you are, let's say that your wife is pregnant. and her blood sugar is out of control, and she has to.
Say, bitch, you need to watch some sweets.
Exactly. Like, if she gives birth, then there's going to be an aneurysm and your wife will die.
So win-win.
What would happen if the doctor looked at you and said, it's not a legal reason? Your wife isn't trying hard enough to have a baby.
I would say, but they denied her life insurance. What am I going to do? It's my only source of income.
Dude, I just upped this shit. Come on.
It's not time. Wait till I can get life insurance. No,
I do, and
look, I know I'm being
No,
jokey
I know.
about it, and
But I
saying
mean,
just take
and
that
that's
shit
where
out
the
back and
state of
shoot it, whatever.
Kansas
I'm kidding,
is failing
obviously,
us
but
as
yeah.
a country or as a complete anything. I feel like my life would be more important than any child I would have in me. Do you know what I mean?
Currently,
I have two
you're
children.
You're selfish.
I am very selfish.
No, I agree with you to an extent where like the mother should be able to make, or the family should be able to make that decision, whatever. And I think that one's a sticky one.
It is.
Because, you know, most of the time in that situation, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not just the mother's life that is also at risk. It's also the baby's too. Like, even if you go through with it, the baby may not make it either.
Exactly.
So it's like, as a man, you're like, so do I gamble and just hope that both pull out and they're fine, or do we take the safe one and my wife still lives? I mean,
Yeah.
there was a country song written about that.
Well, and there's also the
Um,
fact that when you think of like cancer patients who accidentally get pregnant, they're going through chemo and radiation and
Yeah,
having
yeah.
surgeries. You have taken the option of removing a fetus
That's going to
that's
turn
not
out to be an
alive.
octopus.
And this could also hurt the woman's chance to have another baby.
That too. Although I have heard that abortion also hurts the chance to have another baby too. To be fair, but I mean, whatever.
Well, you've had like 6. I don't feel like it's a.
No,
I mean,
yeah,
for
no.
other people, maybe you guys seem to not have problems. Like,
I usually stop it before it's a problem. And I
like
just
after the genetic testing comes back, oh, this one's gonna have an extra finger. No, eject.
this one's gonna look too Mexican. Get that the fuck out.
Thank God you have that blonde-haired, blue-eyed one.
I need
You
that.
guys got lucky on number 4.
No, I start the abortion process way early. Instead of aiming for the womb, I just aim for the nose. But yeah,
Oh
it's,
my God.
it's a situation that it's risky, and especially if the kid is going to be in pain or have some sort of disease that's going to claim its life early. I'm not going to be like, well, maybe God will heal it. Nah, I'm good. Because you know how many
never,
times
ever
I've
get
said,
those
hey,
people.
maybe God will heal this, and it never happens. Yeah, I don't want to put a baby through that.
And I don't understand a parent. Well, how do you know my kid's in pain? I know when my kids are in pain. How do you not know?
I know when a fucking fish is in pain, okay?
Like, how
so
do you
like
think this is? Yeah.
it's called pain receptors. You're born with them.
I
It's normal.
don't.
Your kid isn't like Superman.
Nothing offends me more than when my child is in pain.
Because there's nothing you can do about it, and you feel so helpless. It's a horrible place to be. And
It sucks.
yeah. Anyway, we actually gave you guys more show than we planned on.
Well, I do have.
Come on, we got to wrap it up.
We do,
Is
but
this super important?
it is because we
Okay.
actually have a complaint because too much sadness. I'm sorry, people.
Yeah.
So-
it's Tanya's fault.
It is my fault. If it's too much sadness, I do apologize. I did feel like that story was important. Let's talk about Rocco real quick.
To be fair, though, I did try to keep.
You
the
did.
mood.
You did. And I think it would help better if Vagina Mouth was here, but he's not.
Vagina throat.
So we are going to talk about Rocco real quick. Rocco. I can't believe you remember that song.
Of course, I still watch that shit.
So Rocco is an African parrot. He's gray. He has a red beak.
Oh, I know this. I know this parrot.
You know this
I
parrot.
know this bird.
Rocco has a huge vocabulary, and as most people know, parrots can have the mentality of between a 2 and a 5-year-old. So they are really smart birds.
So about the intelligence of Tanya.
I don't know. 5. They said 5. Like that's 2 digits.
That's a good
05.
point. Sophie's kicking your ass.
So she is. So Rocco lives at the National Animal Welfare Trust Sanctuary in Oxfordshire, England. God, England, what the fuck? How many shires are there?
Exactly.
Jesus, there's like 3 in that name.
No wonder their kids are smart because
Oh
they
my
have to like.
God.
Where are you from? Like,
Oxfordshire, Berkshire, Great Britain.
Plimpleton. Yeah, like
the
as we're our
hell?
kid. Where are you from? Newtown.
Oh my God, that was horrible. And that is seriously the name of the city, Berkshire, in Oxfordshire, Great Britain. I am never saying that again. And his keeper is a Marion Wisniewski. Fucking Britain, my God. Rocco came to live at this sanctuary right after he was born. Parrots are highly valuable animals. We're assuming that his parents were killed because he was a baby bird. His eyes weren't open.
And I also wanted to make a comment too, real quickly. We misuse the term parrot a lot. Like we'll say, "Oh, you stop parroting me,"
Mm-hmm.
but parrots don't just repeat you.
They don't.
They say their own words. They have their own cognitive ability.
Which is why I really want people to understand he does have the cognitive ability, and I would say 5. He seems like a smart bird. Well, at the animal sanctuary, as is most businesses, they're updating. And one of their updates is to get Alexa from Amazon, who does make your life easier. Sadly, though, when Marion, his keeper, who works most of the time with him, is out helping other animals and doing other stuff, little Rocco gets bored. And when Rocco gets bored, Rocco has learned very inappropriate things. He has been known to tell guests to, "Hey, you, fuck you. Leave my fucking cage alone."
Was Rocco raised by you?
Right? He has called people pieces of shit.
Jesus
He's
Christ.
told some women if they yell to stop acting like a bitch. So he's a pretty smart bird. His new trick, though, is...
It does sound like he was raised by the Proud Boys or something, though.
Well, and there's nothing funnier because there used to be a parrot that went to at the pet shop here in town who would say, "You bitch." I thought it was
I
hilarious.
apparently don't find that funny, but I mean,
think
look, outside of here, I am
you're pretty.
I'm the
You're a
smoking.
proud boy. Let's
I'm-
be honest.
no,
you are borderline incel.
Outside of here, I am like Ford. What's his name? Mr. Cleaver from Leave It to Beaver.
Oh
I
my
don't
God.
cuss. A smoking jacket. Me and my son go do wholesome things. Like I am the complete opposite.
I
So-
can't wait until your son turns this on one day. But his new thing is when he's lonely, he doesn't yell at the guests anymore. He has learned how to say, "Alexa, order me oatmeal. Alexa, can you please send me cheese crackers?" Which shouldn't be too big of a problem unless you have the Amazon account linked up. So in the past week, Rocco has received 20 pounds of plain oatmeal. He's received light bulbs. He's gotten a kite. He has also gotten raisins, watermelons, broccoli, and ice cream from the 2-hour delivery service that Amazon has.
Which is what I love about that story. Like the thing
love
I
it.
love about it is he's ordering stuff that he wants.
Yeah, it's not just random
just not
stuff.
random stuff
He
that you can
wants
say.
it.
It's the best thing ever.
I was really impressed when they were talking about how he ordered a kite because he wants to fly. And they do. They flat out ask him, and Rocco says, "Yes, that's mine." What are you doing?
I was pulling your live reads because I thought they were wrong, but I was wrong.
You
I
were wrong?
apologize.
Oh, I like it when you're wrong. Alrighty, so Revolution Auto Sales. Great deals on amazing rides. They have a new, I'm trying to think, it's a new Lexus, a new Cadillac, and something else. You can go to their Facebook page, you can go to their website, or
You can rent Cody.
you ride Cody there. You can call Mark at 316-217-3066. Set up a test drive. Go check them out. They're a great group of guys. I like them. They tolerate me.
Too much.
That is Revolution Auto Sales, not to be mistaken with Revolution Radio. Sometimes we do offend them.
Sure we do.
Platinum PDR. They are raising the bar in paintless dent removal. For nationwide service, you call Scott at 316-217-3088. They come, they set up the appointment, they'll let you know how much you owe. You live in Kansas, you know there's hail, there's tree limb damage. Give these guys a call and they will really